Welcome back to the SpatialNnachi GIS series. In our last class, we introduced GIS and covered the foundational concepts every beginner should know. In today's class, we move into practice by exploring the ArcGIS interface. By the end of this lesson, you should confidently identify the main parts of ArcMap, add data, navigate your map, inspect attribute tables, measure distances, and perform basic queries. Let's get started. Now I'll be opening the ArcMap. I want us to understand what this is. This is the ArcMap, and this is the processes that is going to take to open. It's going to take a while. I would have opened it and kept it, but I just wanted each and every one of us to understand how the process is and what it looks like. So this is ArcMap 10.8, and it is powered by Esri. So what we have here is an existing map project, but we are not going to be dealing with an existing map project because we want an empty map. I just want to express what you see immediately you open the ArcMap interface. So we'll go quickly and we cancel here, and this is an empty map, empty or a new map. So quickly, I want us to understand that ArcMap is part of ArcGIS desktop developed by Esri, which stands for Environmental System Research Institute. ArcMap allows us to visualize, edit, analyze, and produce maps. Now, I want us to understand the format called .mxd. .mxd simply means map document, and in this our document we see that is untitled. So the first thing I want us to do is to name this document, and we will name that by saving. I already have it here, but there's nothing in it. I prepared it for this project. So you Nigeria project is the title of the map we are going to be making now. So when we save it, Nigeria project we accept. Okay, fine. And then we have Nigerian project ArcMap. So this is the interface, and we have the title bar. The title bar is this particular place where you see the title of the ArcMap. This shows your project name and tells you the active map document. And our active map document now is Nigeria underscore project. Secondly, we have the menu bar, which is all these rules that you see here. The file is to create, open, save, and export maps, edit to undo, redo, and other edit actions, view to switch toolbars and display settings, bookmark, save map locations, insert, you insert title, legend, scale bars. This is where you get all that from. And we have the selection, it's a map select feature. Geoprocessing, this is where we do analysis. Customize toolbars. Windows, this is to organize your workspace. If you look at the left hand side, you see table of contents, you see catalog. It is in this windows that you tend to bring them out in case you don't see them on your interface. That is what organizes your map. And lastly, we have help, which is just basically documentation. Thirdly, we have the standard toolbar, which shows new, open, save, and other things on this third row, especially add. This is where we add data from. These are quick access. This gives you quick access for common tasks. Fourthly, we have tools bars, toolbar, tools toolbar. These are the tools that we use to this is to zoom in our map, zoom out in our map, pan our map, the full extent. This is fixed zoom in, bit by bit you zoom in, and fixed zoom out, bit by bit you zoom out. And this is select element. Now we have this particular tool called identify tool. It clicks if you if in fact we are going to delve into that because we don't have a map yet. So I would explain more of how these tools, especially the tools toolbar, are utilized when we upload or impute a map. The identify tool is one of the most useful tools in GIS because it lets us inspect the attributes attached to any feature. Now we have the table of contents, which you have here by your left hand side. This is where all map layers are managed. And when we impute a map, I'm going to show you how they are going to be arranged in layers here. Now we have the map display area. This area here is where the maps are being displayed. This is the workspace where your geographic data is displayed and analyzed. We have what we call the status bar, which is down here, excuse me, down here, and it just shows you the coordinates. If you see, you realize that there's unknown units here. That's simply because there's nothing placed here, and so it cannot read anything. But when we import the map, you will realize that wherever the cursor goes, it tells you the exact location of that point. We also have data view, which is this particular place, and we have the layer view. Um, it's very important because data view is where we analyze and edit spatial data. It focuses only on geographic content used for editing, querying, analysis, exploration. While we have the layout view. The layout view is for designing maps, for presentation or printing. That is where you embellish the map. That is where you put your title, the north arrow, the legend, the scale bar, and all. Think of data view as your workshop and layout view as your final showroom. I think that will work better. Now we are going to be adding data. We can add data using this, or we can just come to our catalog and add data. But I'm going to be using this because I want us to follow procedures. So we are going to be adding our data now, and the data we are using is Nigeria data, and this is it. This is map of Nigeria. You realize that the status bar has changed to decimal degrees, the coordinates. So wherever I take my cursor to, coordinates changes alongside. We are going to be bringing in another data. This is shapefiles. Yeah, because the kind of data that are supported by ArcGIS are shapefiles, TIFF, KML, geodatabase. I explained that in our last video, so if you check it out, you would understand better. So quickly, I'll just bring in the other shapefile, which is local government of Nigeria, which I want to use to express many things to us. Now we have our map here, and ArcMap can work with both vector and raster data. This is a vector data, points, lines, and polygon, while raster data are picture elements, and we'll be looking at that much in another module. Um, Basically, I want us to understand this now. So this zoom in is to zoom in a particular place. Zoom out is to zoom out. You know, you could use everything and zoom in. This is how they are being utilized. This is the pan, like I was explaining initially, just to move it, you know, to where you want it to be. Then this is full extent. It gives you the full extent of the map and fixed in zoom, fixed out zoom, and then you have this identifier tool I told us about. So any portion of the map you click, it's going to tell you what it's there, which is the attributes of that particular point. And from this attribute, we realize that it's a local government called Gudu, which is also here, but is in the state called Sokoto. This is the population as of 1990, and other data. This is the population as of 2000. So this gives you an insight of the data, and that is why GIS is a big tool utilized for um, database management and not just the map. Now, this is an example of the attributes table. We have rows and we have columns. The rows describes one geographic feature, while the column stores a specific property, like we've all seen here. The row has names, city, shape, field, density, administrative name, and all, while the column just gives us a specific property. Quickly, I would like us to also understand that we can do some other analysis here, like measuring from one point to another, and we can measure distance in meters or the kilometers, decimeters, centimeters, miles, whatever it is you want to do. So this is just an example using meters, and we can measure from Lagos here to Abuja, and it gives us the distance in meters. This is how we utilize some of these tools. And this tool also helps us calculate real world distances directly on the map, because this map is already georeferenced. You can also measure perimeter area, and it's very useful for planning, logistics, and environmental studies. Now we also have query. Query, for instance, this is select by attributes, because you remember that is the attribute table that we have there, and you must click local government or states, because you have two different layers. So you must click on the one you want to work, and this is what a query language or query means. So I can just write population of 1990 less than or equal to 50,000. 50,000, and here we go. So you realize that instead of you going to look for population in 771 local governments that are less than 50,000, we just did a query, by attribute, and all these boxes that are selected are those local governments that are below 50,000 in terms of population. We can also do some embellishment by changing the color of the local government. If we don't want the particular color that is there, we can change it back to what it was, and this is what we have. So queries help us ask questions directly from our spatial database. This makes GIS powerful. Today we explored the ArcGIS interface, learned the difference between data view, layout view, added spatial data, explored attribute tables, measured distances, and performed our first query. By now, you should feel comfortable navigating ArcMap Workplace. In the next class, we are going to be talking about styling maps professionally. We are going to be creating and styling maps professionally. If you have questions or topics you would like covered, drop them in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bells so you never miss a class. See you in the next class. Cheers.